Back to another free episode of Smart Money Sundays. Okay, as usual, going to kind of step back and look at a broader perspective, kind of a macro perspective, share a few levels with you. And as usual, we will be starting off on the majors. Okay, so now Euro USD, first and foremost, obviously, as you can see, we've been downtrending for a couple weeks now, and my opinion on Euro USD is obviously higher time frame. Here on the daily time frame, we are still bullish. We are very bullish. Higher time frame, the dollar is still overall very weak. Now, what I think we're doing here is obviously retracing into kind of a level that was created on election night, November 4th, where we ran out liquidity. Okay, so I think price will be magnetized to this level. My specific level here is 1.16 kind of 85. Okay, and then at that point we'll be looking for accumulation on lower time frames to take this thing along again. Okay, but until then, we can continue to look to sell this thing down into our higher time frame level. Okay, so on Euro, a very weak kind of counter trend trickling up. It's created on Friday. We have traded into a POI. I think potentially what we could do is run the wick, Friday's high, and then potentially break down again, breaking counter trend structure. And then we can look around London session open or New York session open Monday to sell this thing down into our higher time frame POI. Okay. Now overall, once we get down into our higher time frame level, and we can identify some accumulation and get long, we have some very serious targets. Obviously, first and foremost, these equal highs that were engineered, that were left intact. Okay, that gives us conviction that ultimately, once this kind of downtrend is over and we've traded into our higher time frame area that ran liquidity, we can then go and seek out the liquidity resting above these highs. And I believe within the lower time frames in this whole leg down, there's a bunch of sets of equal highs as well. Okay, so I'm expecting a potential massive swing to the upside from this level here on Euro USD. Okay, so those are the levels. I hope you mark them off, especially, every single pair that we break down. Go ahead and mark them off, pair it with your own analysis, and then wait for proper time and price to zoom in for precision and confirmation. Okay, so that is Euro USD. Looking for, again, short-term continuation of dollar bullishness, and then the overall extension back up to the upside. And that kind of pairs with quite a few of our pairs here. Okay, so AUD USD, kind of same deal. Okay, as you can see, currently downtrending, lower low, lower high, lower low. Now, I don't think this extension to the upside or this retracement will be very long lasted. We do have a set of relative equal lows here, okay, and a level here on the, I think it's 1 hour, 15 minute that I believe price will trade into, correlating with Euro USD, 0.7500 to be exact. Okay, so I'd like to see 0.7500 met, and then we can look to get long again on the Aussie dollar. Okay, but until then, again, we can look for, like Euro USD, continued sells. Okay, and my level is 0.7655. I will be looking for potential accumulation, or distribution at this level. And as you can see, we have our 4 hour 50 EMA, which I believe will cap price one more time so we can get that final extension to the downside. Okay, so I'm liking continued sells for the short term on XXX USD. Okay, GBP USD is kind of the same deal. We've traded back up into that 4 hour 50 EMA. Now, what gives me conviction for continued shorts on GU is the fact that we have an unaccounted for level to the downside. As you can see, ran out nice, clean, equal lows. 1.3600 is the overall downside objective on GU. Okay, 1.3600, simply following the structure, the mitigation. Okay, so we can again look for sells down into our higher time frame level. And on Friday, we had a buy that hit TP here at 1.381 to the T. This was our previous week's low that we've retested. Okay, so I think potentially what could happen, kind of like EU, is that we get a run, potentially one more push up, and a run on Friday's high. Coming into, we have a 5-minute level, 5-minute, 10-minute, doesn't really matter. We have a 5-minute level here. I'll zoom in on it really quick. This 5-minute level, you can check it out on the 10-minute as well. Okay, so I think we can trade up into this level here on the 10-minute and then look for distribution to spill back on down to the downside for a nice risk to reward kind of intra-week selling opportunity into 1.3600. Okay, so that is GBP USD. Last one of the majors that I want to talk about, USD CAD. Okay, this one's a bit interesting. Now, in terms of an objective, okay, the current upside objective for me will be 1.2685, these relative highs here. I think price will be magnetized to that level. And what I do want to point out is USD CAD is very much so still in a downtrend. Okay, lower low, lower high, lower low. Okay, so this could simply just be a retracement leg to run out these equal highs for a potential continuation back down to the downside. Okay, so keep that in mind. Okay, but until then, until we run out equal highs, we can look to continue to buy USD CAD. Okay, couple POIs. First one, 1.25594. Now we nearly came to it Friday, just missed it by a pip. So that worries me a little bit for this level. I think maybe we could then kind of run Friday's low, run these relative equal lows, come into a lower time frame candle within this wick that ran out liquidity 1.2530. Okay, we can then look for a final push to the upside into our higher time frame objective. Again, aligning with kind of the Euro, AU, and GU. Okay, so very nice. Again, we're looking for sells to buys and then session open mitigation. Okay, very simple, very simple. And this is something that happens quite frequently, right? You might have multiple POIs and that's completely okay. Okay, we're planning our trade in advance. Okay, we're planning our levels and looking on the lower time frame for the proper price action at the right time of day for confirmation. Okay, so again, 2 levels are right here for USD CAD. All right, now let's get quickly into the CAD pairs, and the Canadian dollar is really providing, at least from my current perspective, the best setups coming into the week. Okay, so quickly going to hop over to EuroCAD, which really offered beautiful price action last week. Right, as you can see, liquidity run, beautiful retest, liquidity run, beautiful retest, running liquidity here. Okay, so following this, I have a potential sell POI 1.4880. I'll be looking for distribution. It's quite possible, due to the fact that this is just really clean price action, that we do run liquidity first and then spill on over. Okay, and my bias is still to the downside because we have a major higher time frame level that I think price really needs to trade into. Okay, and this is giving me conviction for continuing to look for intraday sells really down into this level, particularly 1.4500. I really want to see 1.4500 met, this weekly down close candle that ran out a ton of liquidity. Okay, so look for sells down into this candlestick. Okay. Again, my first POI is going to be here, 1.4880. Look for distribution here, right time of day. If not this level, we'll wait for a run on liquidity, a buy to sell, break of lower time frame structure, mitigation, continuation. You guys know the drill. Okay, but overall, we're looking for continued CAD strength. Okay, especially on foreigns crossed against the CAD. Okay, so again, NZD CAD is another pair. another cross. I'm looking for continued downside simply because price will need to trade down into this candle on the daily time frame. Very, very clean sponsor candle that ran out liquidity, sell to buy. Okay, so I really want to see price trade down into that, where we'll look for accumulation to buy again. But until then, again, we can look to sell, just as we're looking to sell Euro CAD. Okay, nothing really too clean at the moment. This retail trend line is going to get absolutely clapped. It's just a matter of time. Okay, so literally wait for price to engineer liquidity, buy to sell, mitigation, continuation down into our higher time frame POI. Very, very simple. You might not have anything right now to the left. That's okay. Okay, look for the lower time frame price action. Okay, and once we get down into this level, we can look to buy it up into equal highs. Okay, AUD CAD. I'm pairing this one with NZD CAD, and the fact that NZD CAD has more room to the downside, that leads me to believe ACAD has a little bit more room to the downside as well. Okay, so I'm looking at this daily candlestick here, really the open of it, 9650 area, as well as really the start of this sponsored volume, this up thrust here at 9620. Okay, so the open here will be my POIs to look to sell it and then destroy this retail trend line. Okay, very simple, very simple. Now CADJ is a little bit different. Okay, this one, and I know I said, you know, we're looking for CAD strength, which we absolutely are. Okay, but this one has left lows that are just too clean for me. Okay, they're too attractive for me to not want to sell into, especially these lows and these lows here, which never took out this old low here. Okay, so I am looking for distribution on CAD JPY. 87.432 is kind of my first level, but I think we could probably dig deeper into this up close here and look for that distribution to sell it down into equal lows. This will be the target. Okay, and then potentially dig down into 85.50. Okay, but I really like our lows here to target. It's just being patient and waiting for the sell setup to occur. CAD Chef, I really like this one, and it's kind of going again, like I said, it's a little bit tricky because overall we want some more CAD strength. A lot of the pairs are showing us CAD strength, except for kind of CAD JPY, as we just went over. But CAD Chef is another one that is showing me more strength. Okay, so I think CAD Chef really needs to trade up into higher prices here, which ran out some serious liquidity. As you can see on the weekly time frame, this weekly candle here, major up thrust, ran out a ton of highs, including these 3 wick equal highs here. So I think price can dig up higher into 7580. It's going to be the overall higher time frame objective, and we can look to buy it up into that level. Okay, so for me, now that we've essentially created a new high, I will be looking for a retracement to run out these lows, run them out, trade into this candle here, and look to get long again up into our higher time frame level, 75800. Okay, very nice, very clean, very straightforward. Okay, so that is CAD JPY. See if there's anything else. Euro AUD. Yeah, I do like Euro AUD continuations. I really do, actually. We traded nicely into demand here with a beautiful sell to buy, and price created relative equal highs here. Okay, so what I'd like to see is price to potentially trade back into our old gap here, where I believe price will see some sensitivity. Trade into this gap, accumulate, and then we can buy it into equal highs. Okay, very, very simple, very easy. Okay, so that is Euro AUD. As you can see, the breaker here So I will look to price in for price to print a new higher low, accumulate, sell to buy, and then we can get long intraday into these relative equal highs here at 1.561. Okay. I believe I have covered all that I'd like to cover for the free video. Again, if you guys have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to us on Telegram at ArielFX Trading. Give us a follow on IG at Ariel__FX. Hit us up with any questions, chart markups, you name it. We'd be happy to discuss things with you and get you involved in our community. All right, have a great week and safe trading.